ordered to pay $2.45 million to a woman that a jury found he gave herpes to.
Tonight, that woman's lawyer is speaking only to our Devin Clark, who's live outside the courthouse where the judgment was granted just this morning. Devin.
Keith, Daniela, that attorney we spoke to, says it was a 3-day trial with 6.5 hours of deliberations. And after that, a jury found Reverend Ralph D. West II liable and ordered that hefty judgment.
Right, it can't fix it. She's got it for the rest of her life.
Attorney Sean Murphy is speaking for his client, who a jury found contracted genital herpes from Reverend Ralph D. West II after meeting off Facebook. As seen here on the Church Without Walls website, he's listed as the Eldridge campus minister.
The things that we look at for cases like these are essentially 4 things. Is the defendant infected, and how can we prove it? Did he know he was infected? And, how do we prove, do we have evidence of that?
Not only does Murphy say they were able to prove those facts, but also that West lied when asked about having herpes and that he gave it to his client after they had unprotected sex in March of 2018.
She got an outbreak 2 or 3 days later, went in and got tested, and, from there, able, through the medical records, able to identify that he was the source of it, in part because she hadn't been with anybody else. She had had a prior negative test.
Murphy says subsequent conversations supported the claims.
When she asks, where did this come from? His response was his son's mother.
He adds there were also emails between West and his client,
where she accuses him of knowing he had it, of giving it to her, and there's other allegations about not caring about me, that kind of thing.
The response, Murphy says, was telling.
He never once denied that he had it or that he knew he had it.
West declined to comment. Murphy says his client does feel a sense of relief and vindication, but aside from that $2.45 million she was granted, she hopes that this story sends a clear message to anyone who knowingly puts their partner at risk for STDs. Reporting live outside of the Harris County Civil Courthouse, Devin Clark, KPRC 2 News.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 61 in the GNT. He will also send all kinds of diseases and epidemics that are not mentioned in this book of the Most High's law and teachings, and you will be destroyed. Kol Holayim La, Abanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Rakat, Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and the byways. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Salutations to you speckled birds, you Israelite foreigners. And shalom to the Akwaf, sitting and listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 61 in the GNT. He will also send all kinds of diseases and epidemics that are not mentioned in this book of the Most High's laws and teachings, and you will be destroyed. And the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, has held upon his word. He's came through with everything that he stated and said in the curses, man. Because, you see a lot of sexual transmitted diseases, sexual transmitted infections, okay? And also ones that was formulated in the lab, obviously from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, but through Esau, okay, which is the HI to the V / AIDS, which all these diseases have cures, okay, because those have patents on those. So obviously if they're created in the lab, they have to have a cure for those. And just in general, everything has a cure, okay? You just literally have to study the concept of what's the word I'm looking for? How it operates, what are the components, etc., and then what can counteract those components. Okay, if you can understand what I'm saying. Okay, but this is a prime example of not only our people, but you Babylonians having no care, no regard for your bodies, man. Okay, because you already, partake in animals that are not food, that are here for a certain task upon the earth. and you indulge in that and intake that stuff into your body to destroy your organs and cause complications towards your health. But also you women lay down with multiple men, and you men lay down with multiple women that don't belong to you, and also other men's wives, etc. And there's no protection, there's no acknowledgement of scarcity of anything that you Israelites do with your bodies, man. Okay? And these women in these churches look at these reverends, these pastors, these deacons, etc. as men of importance, of men of some type of status, amongst that sexual market value, man. Because in these harlot houses, because that's what they really are, these harlot houses have a lot of adultery, a lot of complete wickedness that is occurring in these 501c3 temples, man. Okay, these slave plantation temples. Okay, and a lot of this stuff literally goes on in these harlot houses, these 501c3 slave plantation temples, man. You have a lot of adultery, a lot of just complete wickedness going on, man. Okay, the deacon, the reverend, the pastor, always literally sleeping with other men's wives and, laying down with a lot of women, man. And, this is just one thing amongst various many things that goes on in these churches that, these apologists don't speak about, vocab Malone and etc. They just, turn their back on stuff like this. Okay, but let's continue, man. Because again, our people, because that's the main topic, is our people. They don't, consider their bodies, their temples to be, the temple of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because we belong to the Lord, man. And we, obviously from what we see, our people don't give a damn about themselves. They have no love, no fear of death, no fear of diseases or anything of that nature, man. They think, they play Salakia, damn back itching. They play Russian roulette with their bodies every single day, man. So this is the book of 1 Corinthians 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? And a lot of our people have a zeal of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, but not according to knowledge. They don't have the true wisdom, knowledge, and the understanding that's been unlocked and revealed to them from and by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. But they have that zeal, to reverence, worship, and praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, but not in the correct understanding. Okay, and a lot of these cats that's in these churches, again, these deacons, these reverends, these pastors, etc., they have made an alliance, a covenant agreement with Esau, man. Okay, verse 17, 1 Corinthians 3, verse 17. If any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. And the Most High, obviously, again, going back to the diseases, man. You have an intercourse, with all these women, especially women that are married, that have a husband, and you have these women laying down with various multiple men with no protection. And again, a woman is not supposed to be giving her temple, her quiver, her body to multiple men. A woman is literally constructed and brought forth by and from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua to be with one man. And the only time a woman can be with another man, if obviously it's an acceptable age, and first and foremost, her husband is gone back to the spiritual realm. That's the only way. But other than that, a woman is only supposed to be with one man her entire life, man, because a woman was not built, not manufactured from and by the Lord to intake multiple DNAs, man. Because as we know and as we see with all those DNAs, and also too, the DNAs still lay in your body for the rest of your life. Okay, and for you to let a man lay his seed, his DNA, in you constantly, left and right, multiple men, it creates bacteria, which is also going to create diseases. Okay, one thing is the start is the BV, the smell. Okay, and that's one way that you can tell that a woman is just nasty and dirty, and also has various multiple partners, because if she has just one husband, it's really not going to be a point of her getting BV, which you should know what that is if you don't look it up, because her body is basically connected to that man's DNA, and that it's a whole I don't got the video, man. I wish I had it. I might have to look through it, see if I have it, but it's a video that a woman did that shows you the connection when a woman actually deals with one man, and how the body is first alarmed, and then once the body is what's the word I'm looking for here? Once the body is in tune and resonating with that man, it puts its guard and shields down. Okay, because it recognizes, oh, that's husband. But when it comes to various different men, the shields are always up. Okay, but if I could find that video, I'll just post it. But let me read this again. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 17. If any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy. Which temple are ye? And again, those various diseases, man, herpes, syphilis, and I believe they have a new disease, which is like a wingworm infection called I don't know the whole term, but I think it's called TM7. And obviously, the other ones that was the ones that they say you can't get rid of, which again, all these have cures. Even HSV or I'll just say herpes. Even that has a cure. Everything has a cure. It just takes a diligent research to see what components can annihilate the virus. But let's continue, man. Salakia for the rant. And again, man, these pastors don't give a damn about you Israelites, man. And they don't have the intake, the will, the knowledge to give you the truth, because they're hirelings. And again, our people would rather cleave onto that than cleave onto the truth, man. What is that precept that I wanted? Salakia. What is that precept I wanted? Grab this. Salakia. Okay, Khan, Salakia. I had to find this precept real quick. I wanted the video to move on too forward. But this is the book of Psalms chapter 81. I'm going to read verses 11 to 12. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. And the Lord speaks to his prophets. And right now, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is speaking loudly and very clearly to his people. Okay, giving you the warning and letting you know what you should not be doing and what you should not be partaking in, man. How you should be renewing your mind and transform, man. But again, this is a prime example of our people still walking after their own counsel. Verse 12. So I gave them up onto their own hearts' lust. Okay, because our people lust after, as you see, abominable filth, perverseness. Okay, they're completely of the world. They have the spirit of Esau. Because, in these 501c3 churches, they say, what do they say? Come as thou wilt. So you don't have to change. You don't have to be renewed in your mind. You don't have to, get rid of the old man and embrace the new man that is being prepped and prepared every single day from and by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I know these people just, still are niggas, bad bitches, whores, okay, everything else, man. Nobodies, just of the world. So the Lord, just gave you over to the own counsel of your own heart's lust, man. Because your heart is full of filth. And that's the pure example and customs and trade of Babylon, man. Okay? Psalms 81 verse 20. So I gave them up unto their own lust, and they walked in the counsel. And they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. Because again, our people walk in their own ways, and that's why stuff like this happens, man. You women think that, these men, because they're in these churches or in the world, whether they be, a sellout, a 501c3 sellout, or just a plain old nigga, a young YN, as they say, get your water flowing, and then you getting in tune with these people, and then stuff like this happen. And now you go crying, get a lawsuit, you sue them for $2 million, which is ain't gonna change nothing, man. Our people don't literally figure that everything is from and done and by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. The Lord controls everything. The Lord brings forth all the judgments, everything that happens in your life, man. Okay, so if you want to be nasty, again, just laying with, because you women want to be able to do what men do. You can't do what we can do. You weren't created in the same customs, the same ways that the Lord made us, man. Okay, the Lord gave you a position, which is a beautiful position, but you listen to the serpent, the devil, man, because you're the weaker vessel. Okay, but let's close out because the point is made, man. I have some other precepts, but I ain't even gonna read them. What is that? I just had it in my head. Okay, Job, just to prove what I just said, the Lord controls everything. So you mad at the deacon, the pastor, whatever this dude is, for him doing that, when you women, let me make this clear, man. You women control the access to sex. Okay, I mean, unless a man is going to take it, I mean, at that point you just basically FUCK ED. Okay, but other than that, you women control the access to sex, and if you in the act, whether or not, when a man's about to inject his reproductive organ in you, whether or not he has on a prophylactic or not. And furthermore, you would rather he wouldn't put one on. And I'm not going to go into detail, but I actually had an issue one time, which I'm glad for Wadi Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, from the way it happened. I just basically said, you know what, I'm good. I'm going through an encounter. I'm not going to go into, explicit detail and like that, but I'm just going to say this. I'm having an encounter with a woman, and I'm putting on my prophylactic, and the woman had the nerve to tell me, so you gonna let the condom get all the feeling? And so that instantly let me know in my mind, because obviously all these women are whores. I'm not talking about you sisters. You sisters should already know that, so don't take it that way. I'm not talking about you sisters, especially you true sincere sisters. Okay, but all these women in Babylon are whores, man. And if a woman says some shit like that to you, 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16 to 17, they don't give a damn about their body. Their temple's not sacred to them. They don't care about their health. None of that, man. So that let me know just in 5 seconds, hey, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. It lets me know, sweetheart, that, there's something else going on with you, man. Even with me putting this on and me still going through it, having this on, my skin still touching your skin in that area and around everything else, man. So that lets me know that you could have anything and you might be trying to give it to me. So, just to put that out there. But this is Job chapter 12, verses 9 and 10. Who knoweth not in all these that the hand of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai have wrought this? So the hand of the Lord gave you this disease, man. Because again, our people are careless. They don't give a FUCK. They're reckless. Okay, the Lord gave them up for the lust of their own heart. So they walk in their own counsels, man. Worry free. They literally think this won't happen to me until it actually happens, man. And this happened in Houston. And as we have seen, a lot of stuff has been going on in Houston, Texas, with a lot of these STIs, STDs, and HIV. Okay? Job 12 verse 9, who knoweth not in all these that the hand of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai have wrought this, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing and the breath of all mankind. So the Lord brought this upon you, man. The Lord gave it to him, and the Lord wrote it in your life, in your story, for you to get it this way, man. You got to be cautious. You got to take care of yourself. You got to look at your temple as sacred, man, because we are the temple of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? You women are not supposed to know and be talking about the difference, how this man's reproductive organ look and this man's reproductive organ look. And you men, because nobody's exempt, you men are just completely out of effing order for even doing the stuff that you do, especially when you know these women have husbands, man. Judgment is overdue, and this is only the beginning, man. Wait until Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai really bring those epidemics through Esau to really start laying down you people, man. I don't want to wrap this up, man. I hope and I pray that this was edifying, uplifting, and informative to the true, sincere Aki and Akwaf. So with that, I'm just going to say, Shalom.